right, we are back. It is Fourth Quarter Boyz Sports. I am the illustrious Professor Lake, and we're back to talk about the Undrafted of 2018 Chicago Bears series. Very excited to see what these guys are made of this weekend at the rookie minicamp. I listened to an interview, and I will be giving you my opinion on Matt Nagy's interview discussing his rookie minicamp. A lot of little tidbits in there I think you guys will be able to enjoy. But jumping right into things, today we are going to cover Me Rotini, defensive end out of Old Dominion, Deshawn Allen, offensive lineman out of Hawaii, Abdullah Anderson, defensive lineman out of Bucknell, and Rashard Fant, defensive back out of Indiana. Not real familiar with any of these guys, but, I'm rooting for them. I really hope that they can find their way onto the Bears squad. First defensive end that we'll talk about is Old Dominion's Me Rotini. He is 6'4", 275 pounds. In 2014, as a freshman, he played in 10 games, had 12 solo tackles, 18 assists, 30 as a total, obviously, and 2.5 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks. In 2015, he was able to build on that, playing in 11 games. He got 13 solos during that time period, and he had 36 total tackles, 6 for a loss this time, and he doubled his sack total to 4.5. Junior season, it gets even better, so what I see out this guy is that the arrow is pointing up. In his junior season, 12 games, 20 solos, 24 assists, 44 total tackles, 10 tackles for a loss this time, and 7 sacks. So he had an injury, I want to say early on in 2017, he missed about 3 games, and his numbers did take a dip. But I have a feeling it had to do with the games missed. He seems to be a pretty consistent player. Again, 6'4", 277. The only thing I question is the competition that he's been up against. We also took a guy from Old Dominion last year, Rashard Fant, and now they're trying him out at guard. So we'll just see where this thing goes here with the Old Dominion defensive boys. Looking at the guy's tape, he definitely could hold the edge in the run. Pretty aggressive upfield battler. Could use better techniques in the pass rushing situations, but overall, he doesn't really look too different from some of these guys like Harold Landry or Durance Armstrong, a couple guys that were talked about a lot going in the second or third rounds of the NFL draft this year. With that in mind, that's Me Rotini, defensive end / defensive tackle out of Old Dominion. All right, the next undrafted rookie free agent that we'll talk about is Deshawn Allen out of Hawaii. And he's 6'3", 290 pounds. When you look up information on Deshawn Allen, what you'll find is that he's an athletic guy. He plays multiple sports. He's from Compton, California. He's been one of the top 40 interior linemen recruited out of Compton, California in 2013. Now, Allen earned the starting right guard spot in the second game of his redshirt freshman year. He was the team's best lineman in 2015, starting 13 games, and 12 of those games were at right guard, 1 at left guard, before garnering the second team All-Mountain West honors as a left tackle for the Rainbow Warriors. He graduated first team All-Conference in 2017, starting 10 games at left tackle. His natural position is guard. So he's been playing a lot. He has a lot of experience. I read somewhere that he hasn't allowed a sack since he was in his position. So anybody that they lined up in front of him was not getting a sack. So that's pretty impressive. With that in mind, he did play in Hawaii. I think they have all home games. But, I don't think that really matters once you get out of college and you finally enter into the professional leagues. All of that's gone, and it's really just what do you have to offer the Bears. Right now, I look at him as a depth piece. Maybe you could see him on the practice squad, just hitting there, developing his talent, working against talented defenders every day. But I think that will mold him into a better player. In year 2, year 3, I see him moving up in maybe a backup role. So we'll see where things go with this. Kyle Long has been injured, and I'm not really sure that we could count on Kyle Long for a full season, but we'll find out. We really need as much help as we can get up front. We got a lot of depth pieces, but some of these guys really got to hit and show their talent, because guys get injured every day. You're going to need somebody to step up and continue the gameplay at a high level so the offense doesn't skip a beat. But with that in mind, that is Deshawn Allen, offensive lineman out of Hawaii, Rainbow Warriors. Moving right along, the next player that we're talking about is defensive lineman out of Bucknell, Abdullah Anderson. He had a basketball career in high school before joining the football team his senior year. He has a lot of size to him. In 2014, he started 11 games, had 28 tackles, 3 for a loss. In 2016, Anderson led the Bison with 13.5 tackles for a loss, 55 total tackles, and 8.5 sacks. And he also broke up 5 passes while blocking 2 kicks. That looks like domination to me. He began getting national honors in 2017 with 42 tackles, 9 for a loss, and 2.5 sacks as a senior. He was an All-Patriot League player. In 2017, another body that you could add to your defensive front, very productive at the level that he was at. Again, this is another player. I just want to see what he looks like against stiffer competition. Despite the fact that some of these guys weren't coming out of the bigger schools like Alabama or Texas, Florida, these guys have the body type. They appear to have the strength. And I think that, again, if you're going to rely on your coaching staff, you really could mold some of these guys into being some good ball players. So, again, that is Abdullah Anderson, defensive lineman out of Bucknell. The last player that we'll talk about today is Rashard Fant. He is a cornerback out of Indiana, 5'10", 180 pounds. He's played all 4 years at Indiana. His freshman year, he didn't get a lot of playing time, but he was able to total 23 tackles, 5 pass breakups. In 2015, he had 52 tackles, 23 pass breakups, and an interception. In 2016, he had 33 tackles, 20 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions, and he also was able to return one of those for a touchdown. And then his last season, he had 1 more interception to add to the total, 10 pass breakups, 2.5 tackles for a loss, 24 tackles. Not really eye-popping numbers, but, somebody that definitely showed that he could play with some of the better competition in college. So you're going to want to see this guy as a kick returner. You're going to see if he could play the gunner position over time, if he could show relentlessness, humility, to work his way up the lineup. You might see him as a backup nickel corner. Not to go too deep into it, I don't really see, where we could fit him in the lineup. Even if injury occurs, we still got a plethora of defensive backs that we drafted, actually, I want to say in Ryan Pace's first year here. But with all that in mind, that's cornerback Rashard Fant out of Indiana. So, that is part 3 of getting a closer look at some of these undrafted rookie free agents for the Chicago Bears. I hope you're enjoying just hearing some of these names, getting a little information on what type of guys these were in college and why these guys may have fallen, outside of the draft. A lot of these names are real unfamiliar unless you're like a draft scout expert, but I just wanted to shed some light on who these guys are, fill you in on some of their statistics, what the coaches think about them, what the word on the street is with some of these players, and just give you a better idea as to why they did not get drafted. So today we covered Me Rotini, defensive end out of Old Dominion, Deshawn Allen, offensive lineman out of Hawaii, Abdullah Anderson, defensive lineman out of Bucknell, and Rashard Fant, defensive back out of Indiana. We'll see what these guys are made of in the near future. They're in camp right now, the rookie mini camp. So we're going to see, who's going to shine this weekend, But I'm not going to hold you. It's Fourth Quarter Boy Sports. It is the illustrious one, Professor Lake. Look for part 4. We're going to wrap these things up, and I'm going to give you a general opinion. We're going to talk about Matt Nagy in the rookie mini camp and just kind of the vibe I'm picking up through some of the articles and interviews that he's doing right now. But anyways, Fourth Quarter Boy Sports, it is the illustrious one, Professor Lake. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And look for part 4, man. I'm out.